In the southwest of Ecuador, one of prehistory's strangest mass graves lies within the Tenki Loma fossil site. Here are the remains of thousands upon thousands of bones belonging to giant ground sloths, massive herbivores that once roamed the Americas. But what makes this site so bizarre isn't just the sheer number of dead animals, or even the fact that they all died around the same time, but rather how they died. Because, as paleontologists would eventually discover, these giants met their end in perhaps the most undignified and bizarre way imaginable. The species of giant ground sloth was the Erematerium, an absolute unit of a creature, weighing around 4.5 tons and measuring 6 meters long. With its dense and robust skeleton, it must have been a tough cookie. And yet, nearly 24 of these colossal individuals died at once. Initially, scientists thought they were trapped in a tar pit similar to La Brea, but then a strange layer of earth was found surrounding the skeletons, a massive layer of feces. This led to a gruesome but plausible hypothesis. The sloths died from their own accumulated waste. Much like a herd of hippos in Tanzania that died from disease and poisoning after huddling in a shallow pool during a drought, these giant sloths also sought refuge in a swamp, unknowingly turning their sanctuary into a deadly, toxic pit. Not all strange deaths are undignified, as is the case for hundreds of 45-million-year-old frogs found in a mass grave in Germany. For decades, the mystery remained unsolved, as the frogs appeared perfectly healthy at the time of death. Finally, paleontologists realized the cause was an overly frenzied mating season. The female frogs were often pushed underwater by males and drowned from exhaustion. Since they lived on land and only returned to the swamp to mate, their poor swimming skills turned the act of love into a deadly end. The scene shifts to another strange death, this time in the air. An early Cretaceous pterosaur named Ludodactylus was found with a yucca leaf lodged in its jaw. With its sharp teeth, it was clearly not an herbivore. Scientists concluded that, while flying at high speeds, the unfortunate animal flew straight into a yucca plant, a species with razor-sharp leaves nicknamed Adam's needle or the Spanish bayonet. Impaled by the leaf, the Ludodactylus died a slow, agonizing death, unable to eat or drink. It turns out plants were even more bloodthirsty than we might expect. A Cretaceous turtle was found skewered by a tree. This bizarre find was part of a larger discovery at the Tanis fossil site in North Dakota, the only place known to have preserved animals killed directly by the asteroid that wiped out the dinosaurs. Besides the turtle, other victims included both saltwater and freshwater fish found mangled together miles inland, with their gills full of molten debris as if they had inhaled lava. An Edmontosaurus was mummified by ejecta, and many dinosaur groups were crushed to pieces by violent waves. What's truly crazy is that Tanis is located 3,000 kilometers away from the impact site, showing that the cataclysm spread across the globe, bringing bizarre, brutal, and unavoidable death to all life. Our journey continues to another natural disaster. In Cappadocia, Turkey, a remarkably well-preserved Surifarium rhino skull was unearthed, but its surface was rough and corrugated. Scientists concluded that this rhino was fried, dehydrated, and baked to a crisp by a surge of lava exceeding 400 degrees Celsius. A subsequent pyroclastic flow then completely dismembered the rest of its body. Amazingly, prehistoric rhinos in general seem to have had a knack for being lavafied. In Washington, a peculiar cave was discovered that turned out to be a natural mold of a deceased rhino. The theory is that the rhino was in a body of water when a lava flow approached. It died from the heat and gases before the lava even touched it. As the lava enveloped the bloated, floating carcass, the surrounding water cooled it quickly, forming a perfect mold. Over millions of years, erosion exposed the mold, completing its transformation into a unique cave. The final strange case involves our own ancestors. In Ethiopia, a fossil collection known as the first family of Australopithecus was found with all 17 individuals having died at the same time. The initial theory of a flash flood was debunked. Instead, some scientists believe they were massacred by a pack of predators, possibly saber-toothed cats, a theory supported by the mass missing of finger and toe bones. However, others suggest the entire family may have died from a severe case of food poisoning. Finally, we have the bizarre case that was solved only recently. A Jurassic fish named Tharsis found with a dead cephalopod,
a belemnite impaled within it. Multiple identical fossils were found, causing great confusion. The recent breakthrough came from the discovery that the belemnites had barnacles growing on them, meaning they were already dead. The theory is that the dead, gas-filled belemnites floated to the surface where they became a fatal trap for the tharsis, which had a tendency to suck on floating objects. The fish would accidentally swallow the belemnite's sharp rostrum, slowly suffocating to death. Ultimately, these fossils serve as more than just curiosities. They are windows into a past that shows us that life has always been unpredictable, sometimes cruel, and often just plain weird.